Today, we're going to be looking at two more cards from the core box, and I want to talk a little bit about them today. We're picking aspect cards because some people were asking about that and not just basic cards, so I wanted to touch a little bit on aspect cards. Today, I want to talk a bit about Hulk and Aggression, the Hulk Aggression ally, and the Jessica Jones Justice ally. I think this will be fun to talk about. Now, first, most important thing is this is not a one-way street. This is an open conversation. I want your thoughts and opinions about this as well. I don't think what I have to say is the end all be all. I don't think I have all the right opinions about it or anything. This is just my personal experience, and I want to hear yours as well. So make sure to write it down in the comments if you get a chance, or you can go over to twitch.tv/D20 Woodworking where we live stream. We do Marvel Champions probably at least once a week, sometimes two. Recently, it's been three, so it's been a bit busier. But make sure that subscribe button, hit that notification button so you know when I go live, and we can talk about the different cards as well. So let's go check out Hulk and Jessica Jones. All right, the first one is the Hulk ally that came in the core box, and it's a 2 null 3/5 stat line. After Hulk attacks, it's a force response. Discard the top card of your deck. If that card's printed resource is a strength resource, you deal 2 damage to enemy, which isn't bad. Energy, you deal 1 damage to each character, not great. And then a mental, you discard Hulk, which is kind of terrible. And then a wild resource, you discard all of it. I feel like when this card first came out that people got excited because it's like, oh, an ally can swing for 3. That's huge, which is pretty strong. But the problem is there was a solid shot that you ended up getting rid of Hulk and you couldn't use him as a blocker. So 2 for 3 was not great. And you lost a card off top of your deck. So a lot of people shied away from this. And then some people would build into it and say, okay, I'm just going to do a strength resource build. And when I did things like that, then it's like, well, Hulk is really a 2 cost ally with 5 damage and all that fun stuff. And you got to keep him out and just keep doing damage and whatever. I've seen some viable builds that way, and I think it's fine. I'm not a big person that likes to build out for just one ally, but it can be done. Anyway, this was an ally that I stopped using pretty early on because I couldn't see the benefit of using him. I didn't think he was that good or that strong or whatever. Now, over time, I've gotten to the point where I'm using him a lot more. The reason being is I'm not using him as an attacker. I'm using him as a blocker, especially for kind of like earlier games. And what I mean by that is if you go to like Rise of Red Skull box, right? And you look at Crossbones on standard, right? He attacks for 1 in stage 1, stage 2 is 2. The 20 boost icons, if you average it out, I swear they used to put the average there. It's probably like 1.7, 1.8. Most of the boost icons and villains is like 1.7 to 2.2. And all that means is like, you know, when you draw a card and you flip over the boost icon, what's the average amount or what's the amount that you would count on average, right? So it's usually high 1s, low 2s for most villains. Some are like mid 2s to high 2s, like really tough ones. So anyway, Crossbones has 1 attack. Let's say he pulls a 2 boost icon. So then he does 3 damage to Hulk if you use Hulk as a blocker, and then Hulk can be used as another round, right? This is the same for Absorbing Man, right? 2, let's say he pulls a 2 boost icon, so he takes 4 damage. Well, he can be used as a blocker for another round. And then same with Taskmaster, right? 2/2. Now, if you start getting to Expert, usually they get a little tougher. This is 1 and 2. What's his name? Red Skull's a little tougher because of his side scheme thing that is going on. But the same could be said for Mad Titan Shadow, right? 1, 2, 2. And then Proxima gets a little tougher on standard 2, so you might not be able to use it then. Corvus Glaive can be a little bit tough, but a little bit easier. Thanos, once you get the Expert, like that's not going to make sense. He's just going to get destroyed by Thanos with that 4 attack. Plus he has the Infinity Gauntlet, so he's really swinging for 5, right? Hela's a little bit weaker, so you can make that work. But you can see how you can use him as a blocker for several different things. And this is how I've been using Hulk. And he's had this resurgence because a lot of times in aggression builds, I don't want to always be taking damage. I don't love flipping down. If you know my playstyle, I don't flip down a ton. So I will use Hulk as a blocker for about 2 rounds, especially in standard games. Now, in Expert, it doesn't make as much sense. It's not something I do that often. And I don't want to make it seem like he's in every single aggression deck or anything. But there are times I'm like, man, I have a kind of a squishy hero. I don't want to be taking that much damage. So we'll have Hulk come in instead. And hopefully he can block for 2 rounds, like I said, especially on standard. So let me know your thoughts on how you use Hulk. Do you build kind of around his whole force response? Do you just use him and kind of go YOLO with it, or do you just avoid him completely? I will say that for Jessica Jones, it's been kind of a similar story where Jessica Jones was interesting because her 3/1/2/3 stat line's fine, but Jessica Jones gets +1 thwart for each side scheme in play. And this was kind of interesting at the time because if you had Red Skull or whatever that came out, that like this made a lot more sense. I think with the core box, there weren't a ton of side schemes, so she really just be thwarting for 2. Red Skull now would have more side schemes out there, all that fun stuff. There was a strategy that came along with Nebula, or I don't know if this card came with Nebula, but it came during the Guardians Most Wanted campaign, where she kind of got this extra boost because you would use one way or another, put out a side scheme, get to draw 3 cards, and hopefully you already had Jessica Jones out, so she'd be thwarting 2 off of that side scheme, especially if it was a 2 or 3 thwart side scheme. Worked really well, right? So that strategy was around for a little while. And it kind of faded a little bit as they are to do. But now with personal side schemes coming back, I feel like she's making a little bit of a resurgence. She has me looking at things now and again. If I want to do a Jessica Jones focus on things, I will kind of keep out a personal side scheme. So this way she's thwarting 2. So if a encounter side scheme comes out, she's thwarting 3 on it. And for most side schemes in solo, like most side schemes in solo, like that will knock it out, right? Jessica Jones will just take care of it for you, which can be really strong and can be really good. Again, it's not something that I build all the time or build around or whatever, but if I'm dealing with a scenario where there is a lot more side schemes, or I'm putting in personal side schemes, or really if you're playing a multiplayer game and you can have 2 personal side schemes at a time, right? Like a 3 or 4 player multiplayer game, then she gets even stronger with that too. Really, not even to like get rid of the personal side schemes, but to kind of keep the main scheme in check a bit. I can really see this kind of really helping out and getting a lot stronger. So anyway, this is something that I've seen kind of a resurgence with. I know there's other ways people have used Jessica Jones too. I want to make sure like I clarify this. I'm not covering all the ways people have used Jessica Jones. There are other ways. Same with Hulk. I'm not covering all the ways. I'm just covering the ones that I've kind of like seen the most recently. So yeah, I think they're both interesting cards. Hulk I'd probably play more of nowadays from the core box. Jessica Jones becomes a little more niche for me. I still use her now and again, but not as much, I would say, as I used to, unless I'm kind of doing like a whole like side scheme build. All right, hopefully you've been enjoying these kind of quicker videos, these little quick 5, 10, whatever it is, minute videos that just kind of cover 2 cards. I want to keep it this way, just really quick and really to the point. So again, let me know your opinions of these cards down below. And while you're down there, make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. It really helps out the channel. And if there's certain cards you want to see, there's links. The first comment will be pinned, which will have like all my links in there. The Discord link is in there. Make sure to check out Discord. You can come join and let me know what cards you want me to talk about to start a conversation with. And I will see you all next time.